You know, I remember the day that I posted my Hyrule Warriors Legends review quite well. It was way back in March of 2016. I had no idea that this video and this video game would go on to pretty much define the entire year for me. That review is probably the reason a lot of you found me. I have no idea how it spread as wide as it did, but either way, it's finally time to close the book on the game with my review of the final DLC pack, the Link Between Worlds pack. I've made reviews of the other 3 DLC packs which came out for this game, and I thought that all of them added significant value and content for the price. So, spoiler warning, that's not about to change here. In fact, I want to take a moment to just marvel at what a long life this game has had in both of its forms, due to the unprecedented follow-up by Koei Tecmo. Koei Tecmo hasn't always been the best at handling DLC pricing and value, but with Hyrule Warriors and Hyrule Warriors Legends, they knocked it out of the park. So, what do your final few extra bucks get you in this pack? Well, as expected, you get 2 new characters, 17 new costumes, 15 My Fairy costumes, the final third of the level 4+ weapons, and the other typical unlockables which are on the new Hyrule and Lorule map. First things first, let's cover the characters, and this time we have Ravio using his hammer, and Yuga using a portrait. Like usual, I've already covered them both in detail on my All About series, so click here or in the description to watch either of these later on after you watch this video. But as has been the trend with each DLC, there's one character that ends up much stronger and overall better mechanically than the other, and surprisingly, it's Ravio who gets the short end of the stick here. His moves, while entertaining, are not really that effective when compared to Yuga's fast, easy to use, and juggle-heavy playstyle. Next up we have my favorite part, the new assortment of costumes, which I have to say this time are pretty passable. I personally enjoyed the Link's Awakening pack costumes the most out of the 4, but these ones are not too shabby either, with Twilight Midna's and Linkle's new color schemes being some of my new favorites. To go along with those recolors, we also finally have the last third of the 4+ weapons, and I'm not going to bother re-explaining the mechanics of them right now. If you want to know, you can just watch my second DLC review. Click here if you want to. Either way, the weapons that are added this time are Link's Dark Magic Sword, which adds darkness on top of light, Link's Great Fairy of Tempest, which adds lightning on top of water, Link's Stormy-Eyed Epona, which adds lightning on top of light, Link's Hydro Spinner, which adds water on top of lightning, Impa's Bigoron Sunblade, which adds light on top of water, Lana's Tome of the Night, which adds darkness on top of lightning, Zelda's Gloomy Rapier, which adds darkness on top of light, Zelda's Volcanic Dominion Rod, which adds fire on top of darkness, Ganondorf's Swords of Renewal, which adds light on top of darkness, Linkle's Luminous Crossbows, which add light on top of fire, and Toon Link's Locomo Sword of Oceans, which adds water on top of light. As you can see, the majority of these go to just 1 or 2 characters who have multiple weapon slots. But on the other hand, these are the best level 4+ weapons that we've seen so far. Ever since they added this weapon type in the second DLC, I've really been wondering how they would recolor weapons like Epona and the Great Fairy, and I am not disappointed at all with what they came up with. Once again, these weapons are the hardest challenges to be found on the new map, but I can't say that any of them are as much of a pain to get as some other truly rough level 4+ missions in the DLCs, such as the one with Agatha in DLC 2 or the one for Impa's Naginata in DLC 3. Anyways, speaking of that map, you may be wondering how it fares when compared to the previous DLC maps, and to me, this one's alright. What we have here is a 16x7 map that is split into 2 halves, so really it's 2 8x7 maps. This concept of breaking one map into multiple parts was something that they tried on the Grand Travels map, and I think they overall failed there, but here it works quite well. Once you get into it, you're able to warp back and forth pretty easily, and there's also a little bit of a puzzle-solving element to be had here, as you'll need to think ahead over what items you need to unlock, so you can progress into certain nooks to complete challenges that will then allow you to use the wall cracks and teleport to other important spots in the map. This warping wasn't something that they had done very well before on the Twilight Princess map, but here, it works out a lot better. Since you know where you're going to be warping each time, there's no chance of wasting your time by teleporting to a spot that you already uncovered, which happened to be constantly on the Twilight Princess map. There's also an additional feature added to this map, which is the Ravio bonus. Down at the bottom, you'll see Ravio's head, and depending on what items you use on the map, his eyes will change to indicate what different kind of positive boost you're going to be getting. Sometimes you'll get extra damage using certain element weapons, sometimes you'll get extra rupees that drop off of enemies, it all depends on what's in his eye. There is really no negative to this system at all, it's just an outright bonus to make sure that you're always getting tons of drops. And since you can eventually learn what items will give you what bonuses, you can make sure that you're always going to get what you want. It's an interesting little mechanic that some can use to never have to go to specific maps again just for grinding, but to be honest, at this point my characters are all at around level 80 to 100, some of them into 150, and I have almost every badge unlocked for almost all of them. So I paid almost no attention to this Ravio bonus at all and just played through the map. Oh, and I can't forget that there are 2 new mission types on this map, one of which sees you escorting bomb chews to help kill giant bosses, and another one has you killing certain enemies to make your true target appear. Other than the minor collectibles such as the extra heart containers and new Skulltula picture to assemble, that pretty much closes the book on this DLC, and it really isn't a question if this content's going to get a recommendation from me. Koei Tecmo has demonstrated consistently throughout this game's life that they were committed to supporting it with excellent quality free and paid content. And just like all the other DLCs, this paid content here is an absolute bargain for the hours of fun that you can have with it. Recommended if you like the game or you like the other DLCs, buy it. So, now that we've reached the end of all the DLCs for this game, you might be wondering what is in store for the future of this channel. Well, I'm going to be covering that in a different video, so be sure to click here on screen or in the description for a link to that once it's up. Anyways, everybody, that's about it for me today. I'd like to give a special thank you to Trist for providing all of the 3DS footage used in this review. Click here to go and check out his channel. And I'd also like to give a special thank you to my top patrons Corey Mosty and Austin Lau. If you too would like to have your name shouted out by me at the end of every video, you should really take a moment to head on over to my Patreon page and see what it's all about. If enough people donate to meet some of my milestone goals, you can help to make this channel grow and also get some perks, such as making me have to review games of your choice or do timeline videos for the CDI Zeldas, and so on. So, did you click the link and go check it out? It's alright, it's fine. I'll just wait for you, okay? Alright. So you clicked it, right? I'm still waiting for you to click it. Okay, I hope you clicked it and you checked it out. If you didn't, and I'm assuming everybody did. But we all know there's always just that one person who just wants to stay and listen to what I'll do when they don't click. I'm talking to you right now. I've got my eye on you, young man. Or young lady. Whoever you are. Alright, that's enough from me. Thank you for watching, everybody. Until next time, this has been GamesBrained, and I hope you take care.